asking if this is being recorded. Yep, it's being recorded. It's being live streamed and it's being recorded as well. So when it's done, it should be up on our RootsMagic TV YouTube channel. All right, who says I look older? That's because I haven't shaved and because I am older. Turning into an old man. Okay, recording in progress.
Well, let's see. We've got Sue Perry from Wellington, New Zealand. Welcome. Donna from Oregon, Kentucky. Lori Collins, loved working on the beta version. Thank you for getting out. And thank you, Lori, and to all the other people who did help out with the testing. That was incredibly helpful.
Yep.
We couldn't have done it without your help. And great. Yeah, so we are we're at the time. It's 12 o'clock. So get started. We are broadcasting on Zoom, and we are also streaming live on YouTube. And well, welcome to our first RootsMagic webinar with version 8. And it's been a little while since we've done webinars, and this is probably the first time that we've done webinars where you can see our beautiful faces. So hello, hello there. It's a little unusual. This webinar, we're going to be talking about what's new in RootsMagic 8. And the big joke, of course, is that RootsMagic 8, it's been delayed a little bit longer than our software usually is. This has actually been the biggest update probably in the history of the company in terms of just the amount of work and features and changes that we've made. RootsMagic 8, just some background, with RootsMagic 7, it became apparent that we would not be able to keep going into the future with the RootsMagic 7 as it was. The biggest feature requests that we had from users just were not possible the way that with new computers and technology, operating systems, things like that would not have been possible with RootsMagic 7. So we knew that we could either just keep swimming with the old stuff until it just slowly petered out and died, or it became obsolete, or we could try to embrace the future and future-proof the software and make it ready so that we can jump off and work with all these new technologies that are coming out quickly. So we actually had to rewrite the software. It is now completely cross-platform for both Windows and Mac. It takes advantage of new graphics capabilities, new screen resolutions, new things that didn't exist 30 years ago when we first started out writing software. So there's been a lot of changes in terms of that, but we're really excited to give them to you. We've had lots of great feedback from our users and testers. It's been really well received. There can be a little bit of a learning curve for users who are used to previous versions, but hey, that even happened when we came out with version 4. There's kind of a learning curve jumping from version 3 to version 4. And so that's the purpose of this webinar, is to kind of give you a nice nickel tour, as it were, an overview of RootsMagic 8, and especially if you're already familiar with previous versions of RootsMagic 7, how to kind of dip your feet into the pool and get around the new software. So let's turn it over to the Roots magician himself, Bruce Busby.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to mute myself, and I'm just going to monitor the chats and the questions. And I think we'll probably have some time at the end to answer some questions, but let's just dive right in with Bruce.
Okay, well, this is our first time trying to do a webinar here using Zoom, and so hopefully it works out. I know that in past webinar past webinars we would encounter problems whenever we would first start using that new particular software. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. Like Mike said, this has been a lot of work. I noticed somebody in the comments said, "You look older," and it's like, yeah, this has really done it. This has really done it to me. I mean, this has made me age age a lot. So, anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hop right into kind of doing this is going to be just a high level overview because there's so much we could show you here. So this is going to be a very high level overview just to show you some of the new things that are really cool at a higher level. We don't want to sit there and saturate your brains. We don't want you guys leaving this webinar going what did I just see? I mean, I just can't even comprehend it. So when you first start RootsMagic, you're going to have a screen that looks something like this. You're going to have the home page, and you're going to have a file tab, and you can switch between these. These just happen to be things you can do while a database is not open. The home page is going to have some options: create a new file, open a file, import a file, download a tree. That's from, if you want to download data from Ancestry or Family Search, you can do that. And if you've got any recent files, you'll have them listed here, and you can just click on it to open that up. You're also over here in the upper right, you're going to have the news. Okay, in RootsMagic 7, or in all the older RootsMagics, you had separate windows that popped up to do all of this stuff. We combined it all into one home screen to kind of keep it together. So the news, you can click on any of these. It'll take you to online to read that particular article or that particular news. And once you've looked at it, it will remove the little star. So it will still be here for a while, but the star will be removed. So you can go back in and read it again later if you wanted to. Now, if you don't want to read them, but you don't want them starred, come over here and check the checkbox, or you can come over here and refresh to get an updated list. We also have help and support. We have links right here, right on the program. So this is where you can come to the webinars. Okay. We have our RootsMagic TV. That's our YouTube channel. And that's where these webinars, once these webinars are done, that's where they will be archived. They're recorded, and they're going to be put up there on that RootsMagic TV channel. Our online community. This is our new online community that we just opened up yesterday. It's a brand new message board using what's called Discourse. It's a new, it's a message board type format, and so it'll take you to there. And then our technical support. So this is to link you up to information about our technical support. You'll also see whether or not you have the latest version of the program. If you do, it'll tell you you have the latest update. If not, you just click here and it will download and install the latest update for you. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Oh, one thing I want to point out before we go, with everybody starting up new, if you have data in RootsMagic 7, to get that data from RootsMagic 7 into 8, you're going to want to go and select import file. Okay, because the RootsMagic 8 format is quite a bit different from the RootsMagic 7 format. So it needs to go through an import. It doesn't just open it like 4, 5, 6, 7. They just kind of opened and converted each other's. This will import your file. It will leave your RootsMagic 7 file alone so that you can still work with your RootsMagic 7 if you want to, but it will create a RootsMagic 8 file and import that data. So what you would do is click on import file. What program does it come from? you'll pick RootsMagic 1 through 7, and you'll just step through this. It's a wizard, and it'll step through and try to browse for the file. If you'll click browse for file if it doesn't find it, but it'll just step you right through doing the import, and it will bring it right in. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this one we've already got so that you can see the screen once it's open. Now, once the database opens, that home screen, we'll go back to it just for a second. That home screen changes a little bit, and it shows you the properties of that current file you have open. Everything else on that screen is the same. It just changes the open, new, whatever to the file properties for this. If you want to open another file, you can come down here to the File tab, and this will let you create another file, open another file. You can open multiple RootsMagic files just like you could before. The difference is that in RootsMagic, in the old RootsMagic, it opened up windows inside of one big window. The problem with that is if you opened up 2 different databases, you couldn't put one on each monitor. If you happen to have more than one monitor, you couldn't put a different database on each monitor. Well, in RootsMagic 8, each database opens up in its own window, so you can put different databases on different monitors. Okay, you also have a tab for people. And what this is going to be is this is going to be similar to the screen you're used to seeing all the time in the older versions of RootsMagic. You have your pedigree view, you have your family view, you have your descendant view. The descendant view is nice because you can now collapse generations. You have your person list view, and you have a new view here in RootsMagic 8 called the couple view. This is similar to the family list in RootsMagic 7, where you have the father, mother, and marriage date and marriage place. And so you can kind of find the actual families you have within your database. But like I say, this screen right here is basically pretty much the same as what you are familiar with seeing all the time in RootsMagic 7. Okay, we also have these other views here. Now, one of the fundamental changes we've made is that instead of having just a person view and making you open up a modal form, in other words, a form that comes up and locks you out of everything else behind it for places and sources and media, what we've done is we've created pages that always remain open, and there are just tabs here for you to switch between them. So I can switch between people, places. So if I go to places tab, there's my places, there's my alphabetical list of places, and everything now is live edit. So I don't have to highlight a place and then click an edit button. I come right over here and I can just edit the information live. I just select the place and come over here and edit that. Sources, it has its own page, and I can select a source, and again, it's live edit. I can come right over here and edit that information. If a source has citations, it's going to show you how many citations are for that source right there. I can click that, and it slides the citations right in, and I can select a citation and I can edit that citation right there. Okay, I can then click the back arrow, go right back to my sources. So I'm working on my sources again. Okay, my media, and yeah, I have a bunch of broken media items here. This particular database, I don't have the media items on this hard drive, and that's what the little X's mean. But there are some media items that are here. When you click on a media item, just like every other screen, it's a live edit. I can come in here and I can edit the file name, the caption. I can click on description, and it'll slide in a note editor where I can edit that description. I can also edit a date, reference number. I can also see who's using that, the tags, and I can click on that, and it's going to show me all the places that that particular photo is used. Okay, and from there, actually I should show you that. From there I can add tags, so I can tag other people, other places, other whatever to this media right from this screen. If I want to see the image big, I just click on the little thumbnail right there. It opens up an image viewer, and I can zoom in and out, to see the detail of a document or whatever. Okay, I also have tasks, and I'm not going to spend much time on tasks. We're going to have a whole webinar just on tasks. Basically, tasks are, in RootsMagic 7, you used to have to-do items and you used to have research logs or research log items. RootsMagic 8 creates what are called tasks that tie those together. It's basically your to-do items and your research logs supercharged or on steroids. So when you want to create a task, you can select your task and you can enter all of this information. It's, again, live edit. I can edit right here. My goals, my results, the status, priority, everything. And I can see it right here. I can go in and I can filter these tasks. I can put these tasks in folders. But like I say, I'm not going to go into too much more detail on this because we're going to do a webinar solely on tasks. Addresses, pretty straightforward. These are all your addresses. And you also have your repositories. So your addresses, your repositories, they work almost exactly the same. It just have different purposes. Your addresses are going to be addresses of people. Your repositories are going to be addresses or locations where records might be found, where you have research to do, any of those types of things. So a repository you might not even put addresses. Your repository might just be Ancestry and you might not be putting anything else there, and that's fine. It's available there. Okay, you have your search screen. What we've done is we've combined all of the search results or all of the search types into one place. So you have a basic search. Okay, this is just a simple search. Name, sex, birth year, death year, that type of search. Very simple. You fill it in, click find, and it gives you the results. We also have the advanced search. This is what you're used to in RootsMagic 7, where you can bring up the criteria screen and fill in all the what field, what type, what the condition is and how it matches and so on. So you can do your advanced search there. You have your web search right here. This is your search where you're searching different websites. Now in version 7, that web search was back on that people view, which doesn't necessarily make sense. It's a search, and so that's why it's now in the search page. You also have your find everywhere, and you can have your find everywhere right here, fill in it and have it do that search as well. Publish is where you're going to get anything you're going to want to share with other people. So this is where you're going to find your reports, and I can click on all reports and bring up a list of all my reports. This is just an alphabetical list of all the reports and the charts. I can also say group them, in which case it's going to give me large format charts that are reports. That would be like pedigree charts and photo trees, things like that. Your forms, your labels, your lists, narratives, and research reports. So you can have them grouped. You can also look at just the individual groups as well. So whatever makes sense for the way you want to be able to see your reports, you can do that. And we're going to come back to those in just a bit. Settings, we've combined all of your settings into one place. So no more separate forms, having to remember, was that a file setting, or was that a general setting, or was that a database setting? Was that what kind of setting was that? Having to bring up that. From right here, you can just quickly go through the various settings, program settings. There's your folders, there's your general settings. Here's your display settings. You can pick themes and background colors, things like that. Your preparer, your web hint settings are all right here. And if you're LDS, you've got LDS settings as well. Okay, so I'm going to come back here to the people list. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out is that, like I say, these different views or pages, these different pages are always open, okay, and they don't change. So in RootsMagic 7, if you did a search, for example, here's what I'm going to show you, the type of thing that makes this so powerful. I'm going to go to search, and I'm going to come do just a simple search, and I'm going to say I want to find everybody whose name is Leroy, whose given name is Leroy. So I enter that, I click find, and RootsMagic is going to give me those search results. Okay, if you remember in 7, it doesn't give you actually a list of results. It basically takes you to the first person that matches, and then you have to go next to find the additional matches. In RootsMagic 8, you get that right here. And from right here, I can select a person, and I can click the edit button, and it will open up their edit screen. And I can come right in here and I can edit the person, do whatever I want, and close it right back up, and I'm still on the search screen. I can also, if I want to see where this person is, for example, on a pedigree view, I just say go to. Okay, and it jumps to that person in the pedigree in my pedigree view. It'll actually jump to whichever view I happen to be using. So if I was using the descendant view, it's going to jump to that person in the descendant view. But this is what's great, is if I want to go look at the next person in that search list, I just go back to search. And like I said, it's still there. These always stay open. In version 7, I would have had to open up my search screen, do the search, go to the first person that matches, click OK, which would close that search window and take me to the pedigree view. Then if I wanted to see the second person, I would have to open up the search screen. I would have to redo the search because the search is lost. When that window closes, it loses the search. Okay, I would have to redo the search, then move next, until I got to the person, click OK to go look at them. And I would have to repeat that. If I wanted to see each one of these people in their pedigree view, I would have to repeat that for every single person. Okay, now, if I do a search, that search results right there are going to stay there until I close the program, or until I come over here and clear the results or do another search. So I can go over here and I can work on people. Okay, and it doesn't matter whether I change to other people. I can work on places, I can work on sources, I can work on whatever. And when I come back to search, those results are still there for me. Okay, and like I say, it works the same way with everything. So if I'm on sources and I'm working with Bentleys of Queensbury, when I switch to another view and do something else, when I come back to sources, I'm still on Bentleys of Queensbury. I've still got the edit screen available here. I'm still working on that particular type of information. So that's one of the biggest fundamental differences between RootsMagic 8 and the older versions of RootsMagic, is that all of these types of data, all of these records remain where they were. They remain, what I'm doing stays with what I'm doing until I close the program out. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here we'll spend just a few minutes on each one of these views, because I kind of went through them fast. On the people view, the main thing you usually are going to do from the people view is edit a person. So I'm going to open up an edit screen for this person, and it looks a lot like what you had in 7. It looks quite similar to what you have in 7. One difference is that you'll notice it has these extra items: birth of a spouse, birth of child, marriage of child, death of mother. It has timeline events for immediate family members. Now, if I want to turn those off temporarily, I just come up here where it says show relative events, and I just uncheck that. And that will filter this back down. And then it looks exactly like what you had in RootsMagic 7. You have the places or the events that belong just to this person. And so you can come in here and turn that on and off all you want. You also have some options in here that you can do some things. If you want to sort your fact list in different ways. Right now, it's sorted by the order that they happen chronologically. But if I wanted to sort them, group them by fact type, or if I wanted to sort them by the place, I can do any of that type of thing. Okay, I can also come over here when I highlight a particular fact. Okay, I can come over here and edit that fact. I can change the fact type. I can edit the place. I can change the date. I can do any of those type of things. If I want to edit the note for the fact, I just click on that. It slides the note in. I can make whatever changes I want. There's a little button here that will let me open the note up in a big old separate note editor. If I want to blow it up and have it in a big editor, I can do that as well. Sources, if I have any sources, you'll see that there's sources there. You'll see media, tasks. Okay, so I'll go down here. This person has a source. So when I click on that, it shows me the source. If there's more than one source, it'll show me all of the sources. And I can click on that right there and slide it in and edit that source. I can rearrange, resize things here. So I can actually do anything I want with the sources, the notes, the media, any of those. They just slide in and then they take care of it. A couple of other things you'll note that's new. One, your groups that a person are in are visible and available right here from the edit screen. You highlight that and you just go down and check whatever groups that person happens to be in, and it will remember that. If you have web tags for the person, you click on that and you can add and delete and go to web tags right from here. One other thing that's really nice, and this is one of my favorite features in this, you'll notice that on the spouse and parent rows, you have a little down arrow. If I were to click on this for the spouse, it's going to pop up a list and say, let me switch to the spouse, or I can switch to one of the children. So if I want to switch to his spouse, Mary, when I click on that, my edit screen now becomes Mary's edit screen. And so I can come in here and I can edit Mary. Everything here is Mary. Once I'm done editing Mary, I click the back arrow and it takes me right back to him. Okay, and this can go multiple levels deep. So I can say, okay, switch to Mary, and then I say, okay, switch to Mary's mother, and I'm working on Mary's mother. And so now I'm working on Mary's mother, click left, back to Mary, click again, back to him. Okay, so it's just a quick way of being able to get to edit immediate family members without having to necessarily go back and open their edit screen. Now, speaking of opening their edit screen, in RootsMagic 7, when you have this screen open, one of the things you know is that you can't ever click on the screen behind it, because this screen, as long as that edit screen is open, it's locking you out. Well, in RootsMagic 8, that's no longer the case. I can leave an edit screen open and I can go work on any of these other screens. I can work on the person view. I can switch to other pages. I can do whatever I want. I can even open another edit screen. So I can open up Anna and Freelon, and I can have them both right there at the same time. And so I can actually compare the data. I can see how they compare. One thing that we've done is whenever you have an edit screen open, down here at the bottom of the main screen, I'm going to click on the main screen. You'll see if I click on the main screen, those jump behind it. Okay, that's as designed so that you can click on the main screen and navigate around and do whatever it is you want to do. But if you need to bring up that edit screen real quick, you just click on the person's name. So if I want Anna's edit screen, I just click on her name and her edit screen pops back up forward. Okay, so it makes it really easy to be able to work with multiple people at the same time. Okay, places. I'm going to come down here to places real quick, just kind of wrap these up. When you select a place, in addition to the place and the latitude and longitude, it will show you if there are any place details. That's the number 2. That means there's 2 place details. If I click on that, I can see those. And I can select either of those and edit the place detail right there. If I want to see how many places an event is used, as I select a place, over here, in addition to the name and latitude and longitude and all those kind of things you can edit, you'll also see an item called events, and that shows you how many events are using this place. And I can click on that. It will slide that list of events in. These are all the events in that place, and I can go select any one of those, click the little pencil and bring up the edit screen, and it's already highlighting that particular event, that particular place. So that's one of the biggest requests we used to get, was a way to easily see who or what was actually using a particular place. So we make it real easy to do that now. I want to come back here to publish. I want to show you one of the other features that we got a lot of requests for, and that is the fan chart. So RootsMagic, let me pick somebody that's got more ancestors to make it a little bit more interesting here. Okay, so here's a fan chart. This happens to be a full circle fan chart, and you can choose how many generations you want, the orientation, and then the width of these generations. So you can customize this. You can also change how you want the colors. This color is by lineage, but you could also go in and say, oh, I want coloring by gender, regenerate it. Okay, and now you have the males are blue, the females are pink. So you can go in here and change not only the coloring, but you can also change, fading and all kinds of other things that I'm not going to go into here. But one of the things that I like is if you don't want a full circle fan chart, you can come in here and you can say, oh, I want a half circle fan chart. And that's what it'll get. It'll take that same 4 generations and put them in a half circle. You can have it do a third circle, or you can have it do what we call a fan, which basically is kind of a two-thirds one. It's just kind of got a nice feel to it. But it's got the that right there. You can go, like I say, you can go in and change all your fonts and everything as well. You can go in and print that, or you can save it to file. One of the new things in RootsMagic 8, when you generate a report and you say you want to save it to file, you can save it to PDF like you used to be able to, but instead of rich text, we now save it as a docx. We actually save it as a Microsoft Word file. It's just much cleaner. It imports into things better. It's just a much better way of doing it. If your report happens to be a list type of format, you'll also have the option of saving it as an Excel file so that you can open it up in Excel. Anyway, so that's a quick overview. Like I say, there's a zillion new features in here for you to experiment with. Oh, one thing I do want to point out. One of the things that people notice when they first start it is that we do not have a main menu across the top up here. Okay, the reason for that is a main menu basically has to put all of the features for the entire program in one menu. So things get buried 5 menus deep. And so you have to click on this and then go down and then a slide out and then a slide out. Things get buried really deep because it has to handle every feature in the program, no matter what you happen to be doing. Well, what we've done is each view, or each page, I mean, so if I'm on the people page, my menu over here, my options, my menus are specific to people. So things that I'm doing here, editing people. So edit a person, setting root person, unlinking, rearranging. This has to do with editing people. This has to do with tools for people. Okay, if I'm on the places, the menu is solely for places. Reverse the places. That's one thing that's kind of cool. You can click reverse places and you can view your place list in reverse, which groups everything geographically together. And you can switch them back. You can delete places. All of the same options you always had. It's just they happen to be, localized to what you're doing. We do have under the places, there also actually is the mapping. So you have your mapping places or mapping people. And on the people, when you map people, you can pick any group of people and have it display the markers for whatever group of people you want. It can be, you can use your groups, you can select them from a list or whatever, as you zoom in. This is, we're now using what's called OpenStreetMap for our mapping, rather than Bing. It just works better for us. And it actually has a lot of capabilities that we're going to be taking advantage of in future updates as well. But whoever you select, it will highlight their dots red, or you can click on any dot and you can see all the events that happened in that place in your map. So anyways, like I say, that's a quick overview. Do we want to do some questions and I mean, do you have, I assume some questions.
Yeah.
I've been seeing X number of hands are raised. So
Yeah. So just one thing to point out there about kind of the new navigation there and the lack of the menus and everything like that. One of the problems that we had with previous versions of RootsMagic is we get support emails, people saying, oh, I really wish RootsMagic could do this. And we'd be like, it has done that. It's done that since version 1. But the problem is that the feature was so buried that people couldn't find it. And so they didn't know it was there or how to access it. And it's also been interesting as we've had our community preview and we've had thousands of users using RootsMagic 8. People have given us feedback like, oh, I love this new feature. And we'll be like, well, that's actually a feature that we've had since version 1 in RootsMagic, or version 3. It's just that people didn't know it was there before. And really, the new menus, yeah, they're a little bit different, but they do make it much easier from what we found with our testers to find features and capabilities that they may not have found otherwise. So in terms of questions, I've been answering a lot of them just through text, but a lot of these questions, I think we will go in more detail in future webinars as we discuss specific topics. But one thing that has been asked has been about some features which are missing from RootsMagic 8, which were in RootsMagic 7. For example, book publishing, RootsMagic to go, and shareable drives. And right now we've got basically that the problem is that those features are almost done, but they didn't quite get all the way polished yet and ready for release. And most of our testers, they felt that the software was ready to release as it was. And so we went ahead and we've released officially RootsMagic 8 with those features kind of not there, but they will be added in the near future in free updates, like an 8.01 or 8.02 or whatever, however many updates until we get to that point. Anything you want to add there, Bruce?
Nope.
Okay, so in terms of the answered questions, one thing that I know a lot of people have asked is, I guess in the webinar, the font's been kind of small for people to read, and people have been, and one of the reasons for that is just Bruce just had his eye appointment. And he's got 20/15 vision, so he's got great eyesight. So, and he's got a high definition monitor and usually has a much smaller type than this. But can you just go show right there on the settings where they can adjust the font size if on their own screen if they need it to be bigger?
Show where they can, what, in Windows?
No, sorry, on settings inside
Oh,
of RootsMagic.
in the settings. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you'll do is go into settings right here. And then under the display settings, that's the little monitor right here. You have a thing right here called font scaling. And I guess I can do this. I guess I can do it. With the font scaling, you can set it, you can change it to, anywhere from 70% up to 150%. Once you do that, though, it'll tell you you need to shut RootsMagic down and restart it. That's just a limitation of, it's kind of a Windowsy thing, and where basically it doesn't always, a lot of the fonts will change, but not all of them will, and so it's just easier to say shut it down and start the program back up, so that when it starts up, Windows knows that or Mac knows that it wants you to use that more scaled. But yeah, I can, like, if I wanted to go up to say 100 and let's do 125. Okay, well, when I move away from it, it'll tell you right here, you need to exit RootsMagic and restart for that to take effect everywhere. So I'll say okay. And, if I switch to, one of these views, you'll see that a lot of these things like right here and the names, you'll see that's bigger, but you'll see that over here, nothing really changed. So if I quit right here and then go in and restart this. Okay, you'll see the fonts all got bigger here. So you can see now the fonts all got bigger. So that's why it asked you to shut it down, is because some of these controls don't switch just because the scaling changed. So you need to exit out and come back in.
We've had a couple of questions about whether the Mac version is completely compatible. Yes, this is a native Mac application. There's no Windows wrapper or anything around it. It's an actual Mac application, and it has been tested on the upcoming Mac OS 12 Monterey, and we've also tested on the upcoming Windows 11. So it works great on the new operating systems coming out in the next few weeks. So
feature wise, they're completely feature compatible.
Right.
Okay, so the only features that the Mac doesn't have that the Windows version has are some of the imports, like being able to import legacy files, basically importing files from other Windows programs. And part of that is because in order to import some of those files, like legacy, for example, we have to have that database engine that legacy uses, which is a Windows database engine. It's not available for the Mac. So those are the only things that the Mac can't do, is import some of the Windows genealogy files. Now, if you do need to import one of those, if you happen to have a Windows computer or access to a Windows computer, your license, when you purchase RootsMagic 8, your license is for both the Windows and the Mac version. So you can have RootsMagic Windows on a Windows computer and RootsMagic Mac on your Mac computer. It's the license allows that.
Okay, well, I think we've got a lot of questions here, but a lot of these are, like I said, they're just very detailed on how to do specific tasks. So I don't know. I feel like this webinar has been pretty successful. It's gone pretty smoothly. This is the first time, like Bruce said, we've used the Zoom webinar platform. And our plan is to definitely do some more of these webinars. So if you just look at our website on rootsmagic.com/webinars, really soon we're going to make up a schedule of different topics and things that we'll cover. Oh, yeah, here's a big question. I forgot. This is a big one that's been asked. Some people have been asking, wait, is RootsMagic 8 actually released? Yes, it is released. It's officially released. You can go to our website at rootsmagic.com and you can try the free RootsMagic 8 Essentials. You can purchase a RootsMagic 8. And yeah, so it is definitely available right now. In fact, we have a special, there's a limited time discount through October 17th. So you have a little over 2 weeks where you can save some money. That's both on the regular new licenses, and also if you have a previous version to upgrade, you can save a few dollars right now through October 17th. That is, I think that's it. Well, so thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy RootsMagic 8.